presentation on a COVID-10 survivor's vision of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give our warmest welcome to the father of Philippine franchising, Dr. Samie Lim. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, everyone. It's good to finally see you, even if just on video. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Okay.
Very well.
Well, I'm truly happy to finally participate in this highly successful PFA Ikapihan series. And thank you and congratulations to Ikapihan team. You're doing a great job. I know some of you tuned in because you're more interested in what I have to say about COVID than the future of franchising. So let me get to COVID right away. I recently recovered from COVID-19, and by God's grace and the mercy, I was given another chance to live and to continue to be of service. It has been a long and difficult 60 days journey, and as I recount my story, I couldn't help but relate franchising to my experience, and it can be a parallel story of how the industry's roadmap to recovery. There is an overflow of information as to how to avoid COVID to be managed in terms of protocol, procedures, and etc. And let me share with you 3 of the more important things that helped me through my ordeal. Number 1, the prayers and words of encouragement from all my friends and relatives. Number 2, my having rediscovered God or Jesus during the Holy Week when I was confined in the hospital. So my faith in God is that He saves and He heals. Number 3, I had complete confidence in the hospital and my medical team, believing that they are God's instrument for His will to be done. We in the franchise industry are resilient. The very essence of being a franchisor is perfecting a system that we can pass on to franchisees. We are the experts in overcoming problems, but we have not gone through anything like this pandemic. At the end of the day, it will be the flame and faith inside each one of us that will drive us towards recovery. During these times, when franchises are weak or sick, PFA, in effect, is the hospital. The PFA board, the members, and the partners compose the medical team. Let us have confidence in each other. No one can claim to be an expert on how franchises can recover from COVID. But if we put our heads together and learn from each other's experience, share ideas and expertise, I believe that the industry will not just recover, but will reach even greater heights post-COVID. I talk about faith. Now, let's talk about what I did. Although faith is the core, it will not yield result if you don't pair it with the 3 A's, which I will now discuss. The 3 A's are assess and accept, act as soon as possible, and accelerate aggressively. Let us start with assess. Although I was feeling relatively well, I thought, I still went to the hospital to get a swab test just to be sure. And there they found that a lot more information about me. That number 1, I was definitely a senior at 70s, and I was coughing a little bit, have stage 1 hypertension and diabetes. And so they subjected me to further tests, medical tests. They found out that I had pneumonia, so I had to be confined in the hospital. In that scenario, I was able to get an objective assessment by a third party of my health. That is also my recommendation to you. Get help from a third party, preferably a certified franchise executive who can give you professional, objective assessment of your company's health. Next, assess the viability of every franchisees in your network. Talk to them, have a serious meeting with them, and think of ways of how to keep the whole franchise network afloat. Now, as human resource is the most important asset of any company, you should also determine which employees are capable and willing to continue and which employees you might have to let go, but definitely with compassion and fairness. Lastly, assess the foundation of your franchise system. Can your existing franchise program sustain you to recover and go beyond the COVID pandemic? After the assessment comes acceptance. I could not believe I had COVID in spite of I'm being extra careful and taking all measures possible to avoid it. But I had to accept the findings. You also have to accept the reality that of what COVID did, what COVID is doing, and what COVID will be doing to our business for the next couple of years. You have accept you have to accept your company's financial limitations and its ability to meet all its financial obligations, such as rental, payroll, utilities, maintenance, warehousing, delivery, and other expenses. Next is to act. Act as soon as possible. In COVID's time is always of the essence. I am truly blessed not to be one of those who lost their lives just because of delays in confinement and, and administration of medicine, etc. You should act as soon as possible to stop the bleeding, cut unnecessary operating expenses at this time, consider seriously closing underperforming stores that could not even meet the operating expense. Negotiate aggressively with your landlord for a win-win agreement and immediately open stores that are profitable or at least making enough to break even. Implement strict health and sanitation practices to keep both your employees and your customers safe. Train your organization to move more aggressively towards selling through multi-channels, especially on the digital platform, and secure your payment system. Work on your less customer contact transactions program or cycles. Secure financing through loans or increase your investment or invite a partner to invest with you. Consider also just inviting an independent directors into your board to give you a third perspective. Now, the last A is accelerate aggressively. I was forced to transition fast into living a healthier lifestyle. So I will fully recover. I now eat more vegetable, fruits, seafood, and I exercise definitely a lot more. Whereas in the past, my only exercise was walking from the house to the car and from the car to the office or to a meeting place. After the Great Depression in 1929 and the Asian financial crisis in 1997, a lesson we should learn is that franchising was one of the first sector that recovered the fast and prospered. My vision of 2021 to 2025 is that it will be the golden years of franchising for three reasons. We now have the pool of potential franchisee. A potential franchisee is someone who has the money to invest, the time to manage the business, and the network of potential customers. We now have hundreds of thousands of employees who will be retiring or be separated with some sum of money. Reliable SMEs, there will be reliable SMEs that have the close shop because of the new market environment. They have all the three qualifications plus the experience of running a business already. But the new phenomenon, there are now thousands of housewives in the neighborhood who have been buying and selling products needed during the lockdown. They will have the three qualifications plus the business experience and the intimate connections in the community that they serve. Number two, success of retail is highly dependent on location, which makes rental one of the biggest expense of a retail store. Since there will be many vacant spaces, this gives a retailer the perfect opportunity to expand, not only in the Philippines, but also worldwide. For that, I must commend Joe Mag of Potato Corner in venturing into the US during the economic downturn in the US. At the same time, we should credit Max as the first Filipino restaurant that ventured into the mainstream market in the US. Number three, new market opportunities will emerge as new communities will be created as people now will migrate to safer environment and less densely populated areas. Opportunities now. Let's talk about opportunities. In the food sector, it will include the rise of delivery services, takeout, drive-through, along with home-cooked meals. The emergence of restaurants supplying lunch boxes to offices during lunchtime and ready-to-eat meals for condominium for their dinners. There will be a rise of dark or so-called cloud kitchen located in less expensive area but in densely populated area. Opportunities in the retail sectors include stores selling health products or fitness equipment to build consumers' immune system. Since the vaccine will not be around for some time, shops selling personal protective gears will also emerge. Stores promoting hobbies, arts, crafts, board games, and gardening will also start to prosper. Stores selling inexpensive indulgence like chocolate, makeup, inexpensive makeup, beer, other beverages, and probably even junk food. And stores selling beauty products for clients to regain their pre-COVID beauty. But in the next couple of years, one of the fastest selling item, interesting to note, will be the eye makeup, because with everybody being covered with masks, the only thing people can see are the eyes. Opportunities in the service sectors include home schooling. Like Kumon, homeschooling is starting to emerge, and it is a new phenomenon. Services that ride on the reputation of the iconic Filipino tender loving care, such as nursing homes, retirement homes, caregivers, and elderly care. Clinics for family and marriage counseling and for mental health. Micro and small business financing franchises will also be booming. Professional cleaning services for commercial and residential establishments, and even crematorium and columbarium will increase. So there, like COVID, some business will survive, some will not. But let us keep the faith, because there are always opportunities in the midst of adversities. PFA will always be here to serve and save. We will continue to come up with plans and programs that will accelerate recovery and usher in the golden age of franchising in the next 5 years. Thank you very much for your kind attention.